Winter is really when I start leaning into the Grey Gardens part of my Grey Gardens meets Denim Head personal style. And I don't actually know what I'm going to be doing in Paris and Brussels in next week when it's even colder than it is here. We'll figure it out. I have this. I have gloves. I have hats. My whole thing is hats. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, party people. Given the current uncertainty of the future of TikTok in the US, I hope I don't have to give a whole speech on the importance of, diversifying your social media offerings, and also that your marketing should not just be solely social media, especially not solely on one platform. So we're just going to skip that speech. I would like to remind you that even if you aren't in the US, things can happen. Vine happened. The entire collapse of Vine happened. The mass exodus out of Twitter happened. And we have things like Threads, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all those things. So yeah, those of you outside the US, you should still watch this video. All right. The first thing I want you to do is have your own platform. And no, that does not require you to learn how to code. Okay, there are programs out there, websites out there that really help simplify the website building process. Even if you don't have product to showcase to sell as of yet, you should still claim that username, that website. It should still have something like under construction, coming soon. Are you a short cutie who's tired of hemming all her pants? We're building something just for you, something like that. And then, links to your social media and other platforms, and at least have that parked there so that when you go around being like, oh, this is my line, this is my website, people have somewhere to go. On that note, on building your own platform, I recommend you start a blog or a newsletter. And this is for both brands and creators. You know why? Because individual websites and newsletters and blogs, they are harder, and it's much more rare for some government to come along and decide they're going to yank it all down. Okay? Most places, they will allow you to, like if you have a bunch of email addresses signed up somewhere, most platforms will allow you to move those email addresses to another platform. So those email addresses belong to you and not the platform. Whereas if you have a certain number of followers, like on a platform like TikTok, you don't get to take them. Like the customers who saw your pop-up and was like, yes, I would like to sign up for email notifications, they gave you their private email willingly. So you get to have that and not abuse it. Use it, don't abuse it. So you get to have that because you got that from them. But on TikTok, when somebody follows you, they didn't give you their personal information. So that follower stays on TikTok, stays on Instagram. You see the difference? And so when you have an email newsletter, you get to have that email, that access to their private inbox. So use it wisely, but use it well. Okay? And it doesn't have to be a big deal. Anything you could post on Instagram, cute little picture, behind the scenes, work in progress, with a caption, maybe a longer caption with actual links and formatting, okay? Something like that. You don't have to write whole essays. A lot of people don't want to read whole essays, but a cute little update as to when your line might be coming out, or when the new items are going to come out, or when you're going to have a sale and how much percentage off that sale is. That's cute. That's useful. That's helpful. Okay. And I just started fashion word of the week on my Substack. Okay. Link is in the video description, and people are responding really well to it. And my newsletter, it has not very big and kind of slow to start, but I am picking up more likes, more engagement, more subscribers every time I post fashion word of the week. So, and they're short. They're only a few paragraphs, maybe a picture or two, and that's it. But the content is in line with who I am as a person, as an educator, as a fashion person, and who loves to geek out on the minutia of fashion. So it's all in line with what I do, and it's a way I can share with people, teach people more things, do it in my personality, slightly ridiculous, and Yeah, so people are really into that. God forbid YouTube go away. I'm building my platforms, so on the off chance that YouTube decides, peace out. Uh, I used to really like motorcycles until I started recording sound as my day job. So, whether you have a blog, whether you have a newsletter, whether you have a combo situation, a forum, something, you need to build something that's not platform dependent. Those email addresses are for you, they're not platform dependent, and you get to share some fun, useful, exciting news. Create that engagement, create that relationship with your customers. And, those platforms also allow them to leave comments and drop likes and stuff. So it's not as fast and plentiful as social media, but you're building something that's yours, okay? That someone can't take away from you very easily. So that's precious. Next, let's talk about discovery, which is what TikTok was famous for. Okay. And I know that a lot of Americans are going into Red Note, which is Chinese TikTok. Some people are waiting for Neptune to show up because they think that's going to be the new TikTok replacement. But so far, let's talk about platforms that already exist. And yes, that means I'm going to tell you to do reels and shorts or both, depending on your audience and where you need to be. Those of you who had a lot of success on TikTok and hate Instagram, I know you're gnashing your teeth. I know you don't want to do it. You got to do it. Sorry. Okay. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's not my fault. I don't sit on the Supreme Court. I'm going to tell you a thing. Okay. Putting prices, those dollar signs in your captions means that post is going nowhere. The algorithm doesn't like that. Okay, so make sure your prices are well marked on your website and just direct all your traffic to your website. Okay, don't put prices on your captions. And then I'm going to tell you another thing. And some people might not like the fact that I'm going to tell you this thing, especially creators who have had this little secret in their pocket. But I'm going to tell you, we've all heard of rage bait. We've all heard of clickbait. Let me introduce you to correction bait. That's what I call it. I don't know if there's like an official term for it, but I was actually having this conversation with a creator friend of mine because he and I are the same in that we have a really hard time with correction bait. We cannot do it for our own different reasons. But correction bait is when a creator deliberately makes a small mistake, says something that is not correct deliberately, or, leaves out some context, has a major typo somewhere, and it's a small thing and it's easy to spot. Okay. You don't have to be particularly learned or wise in a particular thing to know that something is wrong. And they leave it in the reel, the TikTok, whatever, so that people will correct them. Okay. And it can be anything from really well-meaning, kind-hearted, like tap, tap. Hi. Did you mean to, I think it's pronounced like this or something like that, all the way to just like the absolute buttonholes of the world. You know what I mean? The whole range. Regardless of intent, it's engagement. It's instant engagement and it pushes content so far. The second everyone is in the comments being like, that's not how it's pronounced, or that's not how it's spelled. That's not Greek, it's Maltese. And they're probably right. I mean, you don't have to be a buttonhole about it, but they're probably right. And that's correction bait. And listen, one time I made the mistake of posting a reel without a lot of context. The same content with context on my YouTube video got no arguments because all the context was there. So they understood why I said the thing that I said and why that was my point of view. But I posted a reel without the context and people lost their minds. They lost their minds, and my blood pressure lost it also. Like, my blood pressure cannot handle correction bait. It cannot handle just so many buttonholes attacking me like that because of a lack of context. Like the caption said, hey, go watch my YouTube video for the rest of it. But no, nobody wants to do that. But like, if your blood pressure can handle something like that, use it wisely. Okay? Don't be doing it on every single post. People will catch on. Okay? Or you'll be known as that girl who can't pronounce anything. That I exclude French words in that. The French think we can never pronounce French anything correctly. So there's no pleasing French people on pronunciation. Use sparingly. Sparingly. You can also buy ads for discovery, but you do need to have finished product ready to go, ready to sell, ready to ship in order to do that. And when it comes to ads, don't forget Pinterest. Everyone forgets Pinterest because everyone thinks Pinterest is social media, but it's boring social media because there's no interaction. Like you're sharing pins. What does that even mean? But Pinterest isn't really social media. It's more of a search engine. Think about it. People go on Pinterest to look for something. Okay? They're looking to buy something, cute shoes, whatever. They're looking to plan something, wedding, bridal shower, wedding dress of their dreams, or to plan to buy something in the future. Okay? And so Pinterest is a search engine. It's a visual search engine. Videos do really good on Pinterest, like short form videos, because you have like this wall of images, but you got one in the corner where things are moving and your eye goes towards the movement. Okay. So, and I've done Pinterest ads. I've run Pinterest ads before, and it's pretty easy on the back end, become a merchant, become a verified merchant, and then start posting ads. It's in the back end is fairly easy. Okay. The key here is you have to know where your customer is. If your target customer is Gen Z cuties who left Facebook the second their moms joined, don't post Facebook ads. But I have a girlfriend who runs a cooking blog and she does that kind of classic Americana stuff grandmas like. And so she's on Facebook because the grandmas are on Facebook. When you have product ready, and you want to contact some influencers, send them some product and work out some deals or whatever, just be really careful with that and think about how they interact with their following and how big their following is. Like, you don't want like the top 10. First of all, like, you probably can't afford them. And if you can't afford them and they post something and it hits right, you got to make sure that you have enough inventory, you have enough customer service, it's like all hands on deck, like you are ready to sell. Okay? Because if you cannot really capitalize on the publicity and the sales that you get from a big post, let's say you do get lucky, there's no point. People won't come back to you. But if you sell it the first day or your whole website crashes because you were not ready to handle it, I would recommend that you go for niche influencers who target their customer, have good engagement with their customers, have the kind of attitude that is more in line with your brand, not the ones that have millions of followers. And here's the thing is like big brands, they also market, like they also try to get niche, smaller influencers also because they want to take advantage of those niche markets. Okay, so forget the 2.3 million girlies. Wait till your business logistics and everything is prepared for those kinds of sales. Let's talk about short form text content like Twitter, X. Like, I'll never remember to call it X. I'm never even on there anymore. Threads, Blue Sky, Mastodon. And if you've not heard of half of these, go ahead, look them up and grab your username. And this is from having a husband in tech who's always telling me, this app is coming up, go grab your username. This app is coming up, go grab your username. Do you remember Path? Do you remember Peach? Do you remember Ello? Like, I have the Zoe Hong handle on all of these. The fact that I don't have Zoe Hong on YouTube, I mean, it doesn't piss me off, but it's like, come on, really? This is my home base. but whatever. Okay. But go grab your username on any new app that comes up. You never know which app is going to be the next best thing, the next big thing. And so go ahead, sign up, grab that username, fool around, see what happens. And at this point, you might be wondering, okay, what do I post? Okay. So you know how people attend business school and they sit in these classrooms and they study successful businesses and they take apart what they did right, what they did wrong, what you can learn from them in terms of what they did right and what they did wrong and, all of that. You should do the same by yourself. I want you to sit down and make a list of people, companies, businesses, brands, whatever, 10 of where you want to be in about 3 to 5 years. And I am specific about that because, the way you do branding and the way Balenciaga does branding or the way Bottega Veneta, Coca-Cola, Sephora, that's not the same. Okay? They have really different audiences. They have different goals. It's a completely different thing. And the way things that are able, like the big fashion brands that eschew social media because they're such giant names with, online presence in other ways. They don't need their own Instagram. Don't look to them because those kinds of tactics don't serve you right now at the beginning of your business. Okay. So you want to look at who do I want to be? Where do I want to be in 3 to 5 years? Okay. Yes, there is such a thing as growing too fast, I just talked about it in the whole inventory spiel earlier, but go look at what other people are doing, break it down, and don't immediately copy everything they're doing. Analyze these different brands and think to yourself, okay, what's working? What's getting good engagement? What is also in line with my brand and how I want to engage with my customers? What kinds of things are they doing? Are they doing a lot of process things? Are they doing a lot of behind the scenes things? What are people interested in? Are they doing a lot of polls? Okay, so study those brands and come up with a game plan yourself after studying what has already been laid out as successful or not successful. Okay. Speaking of which, kind of related, also not related, Oscar de la Renta did this beautiful YouTube series recently showing their design process of a recent collection. And it goes really behind the scenes. They're in the studio, having meetings, looking at mood boards and developing prints, and they're traveling with employees to Italy, to factories, and it was a really beautiful series. You should check that out. I'll drop a link in the video description. I have nothing to do with it. I just thought it was cool, so you should go watch it. But study successful brands, see what they're doing, and see what makes sense also for your brand. And just as a reminder, okay, your job through all of this is to keep your head up because everything is going to go agonizingly slow. Okay. I remember when I first signed up for YouTube and put out my first video, I signed up to get an email notification for every single new subscriber. Every single email notification I got was so exciting. I remember I screen grabbed the first, when my banner said 1,000 subscribers. It was so exciting to me that I even screenshot it and kept it. And I hope I can find it and post it today. But it was so exciting to me. And I have done that over the years where I will periodically screenshot when I was at 100K, 10K. But yeah, I got an email and notification for every single one of those first 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I couldn't do it now because my inbox would break, but it was exciting. Okay, so enjoy it. Enjoy those precious first subscribers. Just know that it's slow going. My newsletter is nowhere near as big as my YouTube channel, but it's okay. I know I have to put in the work. I know I have not been as consistent on my newsletter as I have been on YouTube. So I know I need to put in the work. So I'm gonna. Okay, it's one of my 2025 game plans. Okay, so don't get discouraged. Keep at it. Drop me your questions below. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Drop me your video requests in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.